Well, hello, my darlings. Back with you with the Spring in Your Step kit and my Grungy Bunnies, which is Rach's newest recent kit, Spring in Your Step. So check out the description box. The links will be down below. My first design team video for this week was all about flippies and flappies. So my first one was this one, which was the hidden writing space. Flippy flappy fold outs, and for this video today I want to look at a little bit similar, but it's made from a square. So it's a flippy flappy fold out, tab closure there, and then that whole thing opens out for extra tucks and extra writing panels inside, and then the whole thing itself becomes a tuck underneath, or a pocket. So stick around with me today and I hope you enjoy. I think these are ideas that can definitely be played with in different sizes and dimensions. So yeah, keep watching, and for you I'll be back in just a tick. Right, my darlings, back to do my second little flippy flappy idea. So here's my little paper template. I've got some bits from the kit. That was left over from the first one, so it's just an offcut backed onto some cardstock. I'll come back to that. I've got some brads out. 2 more pieces of that writing paper that I printed off. A couple of small snippets, and I've got a piece then with 2 backgrounds on it. So pop these out of the way a minute. So I'll show you my template. So this is made from, I think, an 8x8. Yes. My example is done from a piece of 8x8. And I've just written on there, I know for my Grungy Bunny journal that I need a 7x7. Because this one's a little bit big. So you've got a topper piece here. And then you're going to open it out. And you've got all these sections to play with. I'm going to add 4 writing panels, and I'm going to add 2 pocket tucks to it. And all it is the 2 blue folds and the purple fold. I mean, literally, that's all it is. And then just use your imagination to do it. But I'll show you, it's really simple, and I'll come back to that. So let's get my piece cut down now to 7x7. And I know I need 7x7. Because I've tested it on the cheap copy paper and then tested this in my journal. So I know sort of what size I need. Oh, I can't use that. I don't have a 7-inch on that. Oh, sorry for the racket. There we go. With my ruler. And cutting wheel is there. There we go. So I want 7 7-inch by 7-inch square. So I hope everybody's enjoying. I'm still trying to catch up on everybody's design team videos. I'm getting there slowly. I'm filming these a little bit early. I'll save that because that'll always be useful. But no, in flips, I'm definitely leaning into, not necessarily with a twist, but definitely back to some really simplistic ideas that can definitely lend themselves to be adapted and twisted to different sizes and configurations. Like my first one for the hidden writing space, that could be done in any size. The same as this one, I just think with this one, if you do it in any size, it needs to be square. I don't think it would work with a rectangle. I think it needs to be a square piece. So again, I'm thinking all those 6x6 pads, 8x8 pads that many of us have lying around. So I want that to be on my inside. So you decide what's on the inside, what's on the outside. That's on the inside. So you just need to fold it in half. One way. Yep. Open it back up and fold it in half going the other way. There we go. So you've done your 2 blue folds there, and you want one diagonal. Yes? So one diagonal fold. Get my bone folder out, make sure these have got a good crease. So this isn't really directional, but if you're using directional paper, it's going to be obvious anyway. You want your diagonal fold pretty bang on close. Again, I've done this and it's pointing away from me. There we go. And there's my diagonal fold. So I've got the two blue perpendicular and one purple diagonal. And then what you're going to do is reverse those two diagonals to the center. You can see what I'm doing there. So that other half of the diagonal, I need to reverse it back up to that center point. So if you look at this one, it was folded like that, and then you want to reverse that purple fold so that it's not pointing out anymore, it's pointed in. So from a mountain to a valley, I think it's called. Have a play, if you've never done it before, have a play on like cheap copy paper, and you soon sort of get the hang of it. So you have something that looks a bit like that once you've reversed them. Does that make sense? And then you just fold it down. So again on this one, you got the and half and half. I had that purple fold going that way. I open it up, take the purple diagonal line and reverse it like that. And then lay it down, and then you've got your flippy flappy ready to go. So this one now is ready to go to be inked up. So I've got lots of inking to do on that one, and I'm going to, this is going to go on the cover here. This piece is going to become my two tuck spots. In fact, I think that's a little bit too small. I think I've done that one too small for tuck spot. That one I definitely want on the front cover. I need to get another piece of scrap to do these. So what, let me do that. I'm going to get my scrap pieces and I'm going to ink this base. So give me a tick. Right, sorry about that. I got muddled up there for a minute. So explain what I've got here. I've inked now my base on both sides. So I've now got those inked sort of lines on both sides. So it's opening and closing like that. So I've got my image to go on the front. I'll do that last. And then, pardon me, I cut two pieces of the writing paper from the kit in the same size square as those squares, which works out because this is a 7-inch square, it's 3.5. And then I had one that was 3.5 to be my pockets. So let's do this one first. So I want to slice this in half. So I'm going to line it up on my mat. You can do this on a chopper, or you can do it with scissors, or you can do it on a mat. It doesn't matter how. I'm just going point to point and cutting it diagonally. So I've cut that square. So that one is going up there, and that one is going down here. And they just need inking and a little bit of snipping on the ends, because they're a little bit, I want them to sit inside. So actually, let's do that with scissors. So I'm going to trim an ever so tiny bit off each of the long sides. And then they're going to sit inside by just a bit. You probably can't see that very well from there. It'll stand out more once it's inked, which I'll do next. There we go. Do I want it going that way? Or do I want it going up that way? Yeah, let's have an up tuck there. I love these scissors, but they do get in the way unless you sort of clamp them back down. I've shared those scissors with a few people recently. A friend that I've worked with for years, shared them with her. She had to go at them. She said, wow. Such a difference, especially if you've got to do a lot of cutting out. It makes a huge difference. And then my son's other half, I got her a set for Christmas because she suffers with her wrists and things. And she said the same thing. They're really, really good scissors. There we go. And there, you could have these tucks going in any direction you want. There's so many different things you could do to these panels. So let's just go in with art. Come on, man. It's like all, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I've refilled this art now, and I've got to decide now, am I going to order another art refill, or do I want to have a go at the Barely art? I'm on the fence. So any opinions out there, please let me know. If you've used the Barely art after using art, what are your thoughts? Or do I just stick with art? Because me and this one had a reckoning the other day. I finally had to take the whole nozzle off and just go give it a bath because it was just, I couldn't clear it with the pen anymore. There we go. So that is sitting just inside. So I've got that sort of grungy border thing going on there. You see? So, and then I want to do the same thing with these two as the writing panels. So I may get the chopper out for this one. My mini chopper. Or just use whatever tools you got. So that's exactly 3.5. But 3.5 is edge to edge, and I want my edges showing. So I'm just going to lop off a little bit from two sides. Yeah. So that is sitting lovely inside. Now I want to cut it diagonally. Can I do that on here? Yes, here we go. Yep. Oh, craft lanch. A little bit more trimmed off just to make it sit inside. I know I'm being pedantic now, but I want it to be I want it to look like an inset panel, if that makes sense. So that's fine, that's fine. That side needs a little bit off. I want it to look like it's panels. Yeah. And I'm going to do the same thing now with, I can hear somebody downstairs. I'm going to do the same thing with this one to go on those two panels. I'm going to ink them, and then I'll be back. So give me a tick. All right, sorry about that. My hubby downstairs it was. So those I've inked, and I've gone ahead and glue sticked the writing paper down. So you've got that sort of panel effect now. But you've got then two spaces here where small little tags can get tucked. Those came out of the kit and they just happen to be the right size. So I'm happy with that. Some of these will go in, but like on the plain ones, probably have to trim them down just a little bit so they fold. So you've got the writing panels, you've got two pockets, and then the whole thing closes up inside the book. Let's get our buddy on the top. Let's round the corners on that one and give it an ink. And I think I'm going to, I thought about putting lace down, but I think I'm going to put her, or him, as the case may be, on there as a pocket. And I'll show you why in a second with those taller little tags. And again, a way that you could put a twist on this if you were to do it in a different size, depending on the type of journal that you're working in. So art is there. So I'm going to glue 3 sides, or both sides the bottom, and stick it on my front cover. There we go. And now I've created a small tuck for a tag. Let's go with those 2. So if these 2 were to give them an ink while art's doing its thing. So the kit is gorgeous. I'm not into Easter as such. But the spring colors are just gorgeous in this kit. Absolutely gorgeous. She's got, if you do celebrate Easter, there's lots of like quotes. There's this loveliness in the kit to make a lovely Easter journal for sure. I'm going with grungy spring bunnies. So a lighter color palette for me to play in for a spell, because I do kind of dip into all sorts of different genres and color palettes. I want to get stuck in on my UFO soon, because that autumnal color palette sings to me. But no, by putting that one on there, these are slightly taller tags. So if that goes in and that one goes in, yes, they're going to be sticking out. But when you open it, they're not going to get interfered with. Because when you open it, those are actually going to the side. You see? It's these 2 that you got to make sure they fit inside so they don't get crushed. So right, let's get this in the book. So there's my paper template again. Grungy Bunnies. There we go. And I'm sure I put me a paper clip in here somewhere. Yes, I did. So I want that. Well, this is going to be fun now. It's not going to fit on the camera. Right, I want that one to go there, but up a little bit, because there's going to be a tab to keep it open. So I kind of want it to go up towards the top there, because my tab is going to live down in that corner. Am I on camera? Yes. Let's just go for it. So I need a little tab cut out of here. Let's go. Doesn't have to be a particularly long one. It just needs to be sturdy. I'm just kind of eyeballing this, because I can always trim it down. So I've got that sort of shape. Wonky. Oh, come on. It's because I'm Russian, I am, and I'm on camera. And I'm trying to craft and talk at the same time. It doesn't work. So that needs to go down there as a tab to keep it closed. But you want the tab to be able to rotate out enough to open it, if that makes sense. ink on that. And you could always go back and you could put anything on tab. It's just, I'm trying to think of ways this year to use up all these brads I've got. So yeah, that needs to rotate enough out. So let's put the brad in first. So what have I got? Go with a pink. Yeah, I'll go with a pink. Or yellow. Sort of buttery yellow. Yeah, I'll go with that one. So, okay, moment of truth. Pokey tool. What is on the other side? Check. Oh. I should be alright. That is a deep pocket, but I can embellish that. That's where it's glued on the bottom. So, if I put it there, right down that bottom corner, and poke a little hole, and see where I'll come out on the other side. Yeah, it's right on the bottom corner. So I can put embellishments or something down here because that's right on the line where that pocket's been glued. So I'm fine. I've just got to get the tab in there into a particular word I'm looking for, placement so that the brad doesn't move. Come on. Through. Come on. There we go. So I want that to stay in place there while I flip it over to investigate. Come on. Okay, go that way then. But I want that brad to fold out. Yeah, that'll be fine. If it folds out that way, I could still put a bit of washi tape on it. And I'm okay on that side for closing. So let's go ahead and do this on the back. Washi? Anywhere? A green one. Laying it out. And some glue. So I want my art. I want a little bit of art. I don't know if I'm being over the top with putting the art on there as well. I know you got to glue the washi because washi is just rubbish once it gets past a certain age. So I'm going to run that piece of washi over the top of my uhu. So I know it's going to stay. Now I can always cover this up later with an embellishment, which is the plan anyway. I don't want that on the other side though, so I need to trim that off. So scissors gone again. Okay. Trim that off. There we go. Okay. Nope, I'm happy with that. Let's see if we can get it back around the other side now. So, I keep saying so. Why am I saying so over and over again? Oh my word. Yes, that's fine. That's going to rotate fine going around once that uhu sticks. Let me just turn in. Might give that a second for the uhu to stick. I think I am going to have to wait for that to dry a minute. All right now. Yes, I'll wait for it to dry. So, drying time. Right, my darlings, well, that's moving much more freely now. So I've got my little flippy flappy square. Now my tab, I want to move my tab out, pointed out, and then put the edge of my square up against it there. So I know there's room for that to rotate about where I need it to keep it closed. So that's about where I want it. So with a pencil, very lightly, I'm going to put on that bottom corner where I want to glue it up to. So it's got clearance to go in and out. So for this, I want 2 sides glued down. So I'm going to put my fingers here because I only want that side and that side glued down because I'm creating a tuck. So put the glue there and there. Up. And give it a really good persuasion to go down. Pin in the glue, and let's open it up and give it a little bit more persuasion, shall we? So only those 2 sides are glued down. There's a bit of glue come oozing out. Make sure there's nothing that's going to bond there that shouldn't be there. I don't care about pencil marks, but if you do, you can go back in and rub out the pencil marks. That closes back up. And as you can see, the taller tags don't matter because as it's lifting, it's going off to the side, isn't it? So again, with that idea, there's so many different ways that you could play with this. But no, I'm chuffed with that. So, and then of course my tab just rotates back around to keep it closed. So that's my second idea for the flippy flappies. I'm quite pleased with that. So it opens up. You've got a tag space in there. This comes all the way out. You've got writing space in 2 panels. Tags and the other 2 panels. And with the inking, I think the inking makes it pop more for sure than if I just mock this up with nothing. It's not going to pop as much on plain paper. So no, I'm pleased with that. Now, can I remember how to fold it back up again? So very quickly, pardon me, my Grungy Bunny journal is coming and growing. And we did that one last time, which is the hidden writing space in the flappies #1. And then this one, which is the flip out. And then on the other side of the book, I had that. Then we'll get an embellishment on it to cover up the brad. All my misfolds in here means I've got to fold it all the way out. There we go. There was the other secret panel one that was in my flappies #1. And then there was the other flip out. Again, I've just got a tab on the corner, and that's a tuck on the top. And then there were 2 corner panels and writing panels for that one. And that's a pocket. That's a tuck on this side. I just haven't put anything in it yet. So I need to start filling all these now, really, and see where I go next. So, but that's all for me for the Flippy Flappies and the Spring in Your Step kit. I'm absolutely loving the grungy combination of spring colors in here and just playing, really. So that's all for me, and thank you ever so much to everyone for watching, and hope to see you back again soon. So bye for now.